We've decoded the intel from the First Order spy, and it confirms the worst. Somehow
Mazepin
returned.
Wait, do we believe this?
It cannot be. The Emperor is dead.
Dark science. Cloning. Secrets only the Sith knew.
So to answer the question in this video's title and quell the clickbait that brought you here, there's no way this guy's coming back. But let's talk about it anyway. Now, I've been caught out by Planet F1 articles in the past, and that has come down on me like Jimmy here in the 90s. But you're not fooling me this time. I appreciate that some newer fans of the sport may have lived in the blissful reality of not having had to watch the 2021 Formula 1 season. So to begin with, here's a brief summary. This walking penis was a surprise addition to the F1 grid when he was announced as a Haas driver at the tail end of 2020, with it soon becoming very clear that his pace was not at the top of the agenda. That's not to say Mazepin had an atrocious junior career, far worse have made it into Formula 1. What could be described that way, though, was his behaviour off track, with instances such as when Eggman here decided that Callum Ilott had a rather punchable face. Mazepin didn't make his case any better when he, and let's slap a precautionary allegedly on top of this one, got handsy in the back of a taxi, whilst his brain thought it would be a fantastic idea to record said incident and post it onto his Instagram. With the world now against Nikita before he'd even turned a wheel in a Formula 1 car, he'd have to silence the doubters with an excellent performance in the opening round at Bahrain. Fair to say, things didn't quite go according to plan there. While Lewis Hamilton and a pre-visually impaired Max Verstappen began their epic duel around the world that I'm sure won't end in controversy whatsoever, Mazepin's spin here, just 3 corners into the race, kind of set the tone for the remainder of his season. Never aided by a Haas car about as slow as Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and an alleged inferior chassis that made Mick Schumacher actually look vaguely competent. More incidents would arise throughout the duration of the 2021 season, getting to the point where it looked like the newly nicknamed Mazza Spin was a firm hater of Christmas card lists and apparently talent. There were also clashes between the Mazepins and the team, Nikita and Daddy claiming his car was inferior to teammate Schumacher's and demanding an immediate rebuild. Mick, meanwhile, found other methods to secure new parts for his side of the garage. Despite all of this, Haas decided that Mazepin had shown enough glimpses of pace over the year and was therefore retained by the team for the 2022 season. That was until Putin revealed he had an issue with boundaries, and the Russian was promptly dropped on the eve of the new year. With a European ban to boot, Mazepin's Formula 1 future was in utter tatters, and quite frankly, if he didn't have Daddy's money and or Novichok behind him, there wouldn't have been one to begin with. In his time out of Formula 1, Mazepin has started a charity, helping athletes who have been treated unfairly by not Putin while continuing to race in the Asian Le Mans series for 99 Racing. I've got 99 problems, but Instagram model silence ain't one. Okay, that was too far. While this is no IndyCar field, there is some respectable talent here, and I'll be honest, Mazepin hasn't done particularly badly. 2 wins and a further second place in the opening 3 rounds of the season left him in the hunt for the championship, before a more typical final 2 races at Abu Dhabi saw the 99 car crash behind the safety car of all things and end up down in 3rd place. That's the very quick version to bring us back to present day, where race winner Mazepin, yep, that feels weird to say, is in line for a return to Formula 1 with Alpine. Apparently. This all stems from the appointment of new team principal over there, Oliver Oakes, who I had to convince myself wasn't just the name of an AI race engineer from F1 Manager 24. Oakes' previous position was heading up the high-tech Formula 2 outfit, the team which fielded the Eggman during his junior career, and the team which was once backed by Mazepin's father's Uralkali brand. It was suggested that all ties were cut with the team around the same time they were with Haas in Formula 1, but rumours, and I must stress here, rumours seem to imply that Mazepin could still well be involved with that team after all. Combine this with the fact that Alpine have been more explosive than the suicide bomber this year and a link with a potential sale of the team in 2026, and people have started putting 2 and 2 together to get 9. Further fueling this was the fact that Oakes was part of the team that attempted to gain an F1 entry under the high-tech brand just a few months ago, before being told by FOM they couldn't bring enough value to the table. Guess I share that in common with them now, huh? German publishers Automotor and Sport are now claiming that High-Tech are interested to enter F1 through Alpine instead, along with an investor they call Mr. Kim. No, I don't think it's that one. You've also got to consider that Alpine are ditching their works team status, either by choice or because the engine facility in France found out through the media and their striking fetish is days from kicking in. Doing so could simplify a sale in the future, however, with Hi-Tech or Andretti both potential candidates to step up to the plate. The Planet F1 article implies that since Alpine also hired controversial overseer Flavio Briatore, they could make a similarly rash decision to sign Pina's head here. Except they seemingly forgot that the person making that decision is most likely Flavio Briatore, and he's not a fucking idiot. Yes, okay, Mazepin has had the EU sanctions that would have restricted his F1 involvement lifted back in March, but even if he does bring money, you need a driver that won't just pay that back in crash damage. Nikita's also arguably been one of the worst drivers to grace the sport in the last 10 years, and it's hard to imagine anyone wanting a piece of that. That said, I guess Lance Stroll is still around. And at the end of the day, we haven't even got to the big pitfall here. Does Mazepin even have a super license anymore? The FIA rules state that, quote, a driver who has held a valid super license for any of the previous 3 seasons is eligible for a new license if they've completed 100 kilometers in a free practice session in the last 3 years. That last 3 years section is where things get somewhat murky. Mazepin's last and only full season in Formula 1 was back in 2021, which would have been 4 seasons ago by the time 2025 rolls around. However, he was fully intending to race with Haas for 2022, even turning a wheel during that year's pre-season tests. Whether this would qualify him for a super license again, I wasn't able to work out from my research, so rather than do what I normally do and get it wrong, if anyone knows the answer, feel free to enlighten us in the comment section down below. At the end of things, this was a pretty pointless video if you were looking for news that's actually going to happen. But this channel was practically built on this guy's mistakes back in the day, so while we're in a period of throwbacks with FOM copyright takedowns, why not check in on the Eggman and see how he's getting on? Nikita Mazepin is not returning to Formula 1. In fact, let me correct that. Nikita Mazepin is never returning to Formula 1, and far more likely to get that Alpine seat as their current development driver Jack Doohan, who I covered in a video last week, so feel free to go and check that out after this one. Then again, I have been known to be very wrong in the past, and if it's true that Alpine are about to replace BWT with OnlyFans as its title sponsor, maybe they're also brain dead enough to give this guy another go. I mean, at least he can play with tits legally now. Would go along well with the even bigger tit in the driving seat. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, I'd really appreciate it if you dropped it a like and got subscribed for more in the future. The support on the channel has been amazing recently, so thank you so much for all of the love. It's really meant a lot when its future has been up in the air over the last few days. A massive cheers as well to everyone who's now got involved in the Patreon. They got hold of this video a few days early, so if that sounds interesting to you, or you just want to further support the channel, all the relevant links are down in the description below. I'll be back very soon with another video, but until then, have a good one.